In every generation, there are lots of development officers and others who think that campaigns are going to disappear or we're no longer going to see the huge kinds of fundraising ventures. Yet from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, we continue to find out that rather than disappear, rather than have radical changes, the campaigns became more and more important to colleges, to universities, and to medical centers. It is simply one of the great cornerstones of effective fundraising. The Great Recession caused a number of institutions to choose that they were going to pause on the campaign, not launch into new ventures, not move in important ways. We don't believe that that's going to last. Institutions are going to start to launch back into campaigns, and what that means for any individual institution is that if you wait too long, you're going to be lost in a flood of lots of appeals from the spouses' alma maters, from the local hospitals, from other institutions in the neighborhood. So now is the time for most institutions who have been thinking about whether or not they want to move forward with their ventures to jump back in and to say, we need to begin this planning process. It doesn't mean that the campaigns of the next generation are going to look identical to those that we saw in the last 10 or 20 years. Much has changed. I think there's at least three things. First is that people are trying to find that kind of important partner. Gone are the days where you said that the consultant had the only bit of wisdom or knowledge or experience about the campaign process. They need to begin to learn to partner well and to work well with the organizations in place. The role of the consultant, therefore, becomes to add that outside objective voice, not the only voice of understanding, but that outside objective voice. The second item is you're looking for consultants who are going to bring more specialized kinds of expertise and new methodologies and all the new tools. Every decade we develop new ideas and new ways of approaching efforts, and those are all important. At the moment, for example, we've moved in heavily in towards analytics and data mining and ways in which we've used information to help with lots of decision-making processes. That new methodologies are an important part about what consultants can bring to the equation. It's one of the reasons at Bentz Whaley Flessner that for 25 years we put a heavy emphasis on adding specialists to the firm, whether it's in prospect research, in systems, donor analytics, donor relations, and alumni relations, and major gifts, plan giving, and board relations. We have members of the firm who can bring that kind of expertise. And the final issue, which I think will change in the next decade, is that we've spent the last 10 years talking a great deal about how to gather information and produce benchmarks, so we have an idea of how our program compares to others. In the decade ahead, we need to move from benchmarks to best practices. What the Great Recession taught us is that we need to be much more efficient and effective about how we organize and utilize all of our resources. Now, campaign successes, therefore, will look a little different in the future, though some of the fundamentals are going to be unchanged. They're going to be about having a great case built around big ideas. They're going to be about great leadership on the campuses. They're going to be about reaching out to new donors as well as traditional donors. All of those are going to be important for the campaign of the 21st century.